So starting with an introduction, Govind is a travelpreneur, a very renowned travelpreneur, the founder and CEO of Workation and WanderOn. WanderOn was started 5 years back, and Workation was started 2 years back. So welcome to Xartup, Govind, and let's begin with your 0 to 1 story. First of all, how did you get started in the travel space? Because this is a space which is renowned for being passionate about this particular sector in general. So what was your early life inspirations to get into this space altogether?
One, one, like the initial segment where I talk about the initial journey of WanderOn and, how the entire thing started. And then I'll move on to the scaling part of it, how I've managed to gather the team of perfect co-founders, who actually, navigated, the entire company with me and build, what we have built together. The third is all about the impact of COVID on the travel industry and how we navigated that particular, scenario. And then fourth, about what are the future plans and, what is the vision that we have around WanderOn and how the entire travel sector in general will be, like the entire travel space around India and the entire globe. So I am a engineer by my degree, by my education. I did my graduation from NIT Kurukshetra. It was back in 2011, 2015, and I did it from electronics and communication branch. Apparently, with what every engineer do in India, I didn't go to any of the core fields. I mean, I'm sure all the engineers who are a part of this platform can resonate with the whole idea of engineering. Students doing engineering and then probably ended up being in the banking or in the consultancy. And for my good sake, I ended up in the travel sector. So 2015, I graduated. I got 2 campus placements. One was in Delivery. It's an e-commerce logistics startup. I'm sure some of you must be knowing about it. And then I got one more campus placement in Mu Sigma. It's a big data, analytics firm based in Bangalore. So luckily, the joining dates for both of my company were like, at a difference of 5 months. So I thought, okay, let's just try and, see the different work experience and let's just try and see what kind of work suits me, because I was definitely sure that, that I'm not going for the core branches of electronics, because I never got any interest during my entire, college life. Also, I was majorly involved into organizing festivals, organizing trips. I was the vice president and I was the secretary of the culture club and like the technical society. So I was majorly involved into organizing festivals, and I was majorly into all the co-curricular activities back in college. And I think that's when now when I look back, I think that was the most important time in my career, as in all of my people skills, because the entrepreneurship is all about people motivating people to get the job done. Skills and all these business plans and all of these things can be learned during your course, because skill is something that you can always acquire, but I think you have to be extremely people centered to actually get the job done, because ultimately you have to convince thousands of other people around your vision, and then they need to work as crazy as you are for that particular vision to happen, right? So I think that skill of me being good with people was completely honed during the entire 4 years of my college. I was extremely good with all the people. I had a great community of people where, I was organizing festivals. I was leading small teams to get the job done during my college. So fast forward 1.5 years, I joined Delivery. I worked there for 5.5, 6 months. I didn't like the work. I was like, okay, let's go and try some different profile. Maybe I would like this kind of a profile. So I went on and joined Mu Sigma. It was back in Bangalore. I worked there for 2.5, 3 months. But then, I think job and everything was great at all the places, but I was not resonating with the whole idea of working in a cubicle, because, I was an extremely outdoor person starting, ever since from my college only. I used to travel a lot during my weekends, since Kurukshetra and NIT Kurukshetra is very nearby to the foothills of Himalaya. So I used to go to Himachal, to Uttarakhand, very often. So I've traveled to most part of the India during my college days, and that actually kicked me off. Okay, like this is something which really gives me some sort of happiness. And I had no clue. I'll be very honest with you. I had no clue about how to start, and what like what should I build, because back in 2016, 17, now that you have tens and thousands of entrepreneurship accelerator programs where you can go and take the mentorship and all. But 5 years, 6 years back then, Indian startup ecosystem was just building up. There were like a very few companies like the Flipkarts and the Oyos and like the Zomatos and the Swiggis of the world who are making a big chain. But now you have tons and tons of startup knowledge, mentorship program available at your fingertips. But it was a little difficult back then, because finding the right mentorship and finding the right set of investing partners and all were a little difficult. I'll be very honest with you, which is not now as compared to 2016, 17. So I think I left Mu Sigma, and then I was like, okay, I think maybe the salary structure or maybe something else is not giving me happiness. So I switched to one more company back in Bangalore only, and I worked there for another 5 months. So 2015 I graduated in May. I was working in all these corporates since till September 2016. And then I left. Fine. Also, one day I had a fierce argument with my manager, and I was like, yeah, because I was not really happy, because they were paying me decent amount of money, but I was not able to contribute to to my potential. So I was not really happy. I was like, this is not something that I was planning to do. And I had no idea कि मेरे को क्या करना है, to be really honest with you. So I left Affine, and then I came back. I was like, oh shit, what I have done, I need to find another job, because this is something मैं क्या करूँगा, and thankfully I was always surrounded with good people. So my flatmates who were there in Bangalore, they were like, if you really want to do something, why don't you go out and try it for like a couple of months, because you have the required set of skills. You can always get a job whenever you want. So I was like, theek hai. So then I came up with the concept of WanderOn, because I used to I was extremely keen on starting something in the travel space. So I was like, theek hai, I can always start working on something in the travel space. So I had a lot of contacts in Himachal, so I end up calling some of them. I was like, I need to organize a trip around New Year's, which is 2016 New Year's December. I was like, I need to start a trip. Can you give me the best possible rates that you have for the hotels, as well as for all the local support that was required to plan that particular trip. And to my rescue, everyone supported me on that particular trip. So we had the first trip that we organized was to Kasol and Khirganga. It was like I don't know how many of you have heard about this place. So it's a beautiful hamlet in the Himachal Pradesh. So it was a weekend trip. It was on New Year's 2016 when I started, and because of the New Year traction, I was overwhelmed with the kind of response. I was like, I got around 35 people there for my first trip. And I was completely, overwhelmed by it. I was like, this is great. I think, I should continue pursuing it. And then, so see, one good part about my journey is that I have, with all the products that I've launched, with all the business and with all the trips, we have always generated profit, in our company. Till now, we are cash flow positive. We are a profitable company, and that is my whole idea of building a business. It is not about let's say burning the cash, and everyone has their own way of building a business. My whole idea of building a business is to make it profitable. धंधा धंधे की तरह होता है ना. इंडिया में बहुत सारे businesses हैं. There are tens and thousands of businesses. And 99% of businesses are profitable in India, and they are being conducted the way they should be conducted. Of course, there are like a few startups who are actually burning cash to acquire XYZ amount of customers, and then they eventually go for profitability, which is of course a path for maybe some of you who are venturing into the startup ecosystem. But for me, from day one, I think the biggest payer of you is your customer. It is not your investor. It is not your family and friends. It is the money that you are receiving from your customer. They are your biggest investors. So I've always focused on raising money from my customers. We haven't raised a single fund yet. We are a completely bootstrap company from last 5.5 years. We haven't raised a single fund yet from any of the any of the angels, or let's say any of the VC firms as of now. Though now we are planning to raise because of the multiple expansion that we are planning. But from from the last 5 years, I have I have understood, because see, when you are bootstrapping your company, so you value money, okay, and when when you're valuing money, you exactly know that where exactly is your money going. Let's say if you have build a package of, let's say, 100, for example, if you have a product which costs 100, so you exactly know that what is your operation cost, how much you're paying for your acquisition cost to your customers, how much you're paying to, let's say, to your clients, or let's say how much you're paying for your marketing and PR, how much you're paying for your human resources. So when you're bootstrapping a company, you are extremely frugal about things, because you never have extra money. So the understanding of your business and the understanding of the business model, strengthens within you and within your entire leadership team, that okay, this is the business model, this is what we are building, and this is how much we are spending. Because a lot of companies who raises funds and all, I think the understanding of the core business model vanishes, because since they have so much of money into hand, they sometimes they don't understand where exactly is the money going, and how much, like what exactly is the business model and the profitability out of it. So in my case, I was lucky enough that I bootstrapped the company ever since the existence of WanderOn. So yeah, I mean, that is one of the learnings that I want to share with you. Also hiring a great team, hiring a good co-founding team, I think is the most important, thing in the while you are building a company. Because see, I have read this quote somewhere, and I follow it with the bottom of my heart, that I will read the quote out for you, that a dream that you dream alone is a dream, and a dream that you dream together is a reality. So a dream which you dream alone is a dream, and a dream which you dream together is a reality. So I mean that quote stays with me forever, that that it is never a one-man show. You need to have a great set of co-founders and a great set of team around you who will ultimately execute your plan to the core of it. So founding the right set of people was, I think, the most difficult part of let's say any entrepreneurial journey. Finding the right set of people. So I was lucky enough, because I think when things started to happen in 2017, the like the initial phases of WanderOn, I went back to my college only, and I hired all of my co-founders from my college. One who handles the tech, one who handles the marketing, one who handles the ground operation, and one who handles the entire finance and the operation side. Because I have handpicked people from my college with whom I have been working for the last 7-8 years, with whom I have the work compatibility. And when I say working, I mean with them I was organizing different festivals in college. They were a part of the core team of all the festivals that we used to organize. So we had a work compatibility, and we had that 7-8 years of trust building upon each other. Because when you are in college, the kind of bonding that you have with each other is something out of the world. I mean, like when you're in college, you guys grow together. So that is the whole idea of me. So all of my co-founders, all the co-founders that are there in WanderOn, they are from NIT Kurukshetra, from my college only. A couple of them are my college juniors. One is a batch junior, and then one is of my batch only. So I got a perfect team of 5 co-founders working together. And I used to have my own flat in Faridabad, where I asked every one of them to come and shift together. So it's 1 or 3 BHK, and we have started working there, rigorously. So 2017 was all about launching different products, building a community around travel, because our whole idea was never to be, let's say, any other travel company, or let's say any other travel agency who is doing and who is organizing things. It was all about building a community around travel, because I think people want to belong somewhere. That is the whole idea of let's say building a community. People want to belong somewhere. That whole idea of belongingness within the community member is the whole idea of, let's say, behind building a WanderOn. We want to build the greatest community of travel on planet Earth, where people are traveling together, people are sharing things together, people are learning in that entire ecosystem of community. People are recommending things. So that that is our whole idea of building a great community in travel. And that was my whole, like that, that was my whole impact around building WanderOn, that we want to build a great community around travel. So 2017 was all about executing different trips, launching different products, and then making people travel. So I need to mention this because this is like one of, I mean, वैसा बोलते हैं ना कि like if you work really hard, the entire कायनात will एक बहुत fancy line है शाहरुख खान की जो बोलता है. So I'll tell you how I relate to it. So when I was working with Afine, okay, so I had this friend of mine, Sukan. I need to tell you this story because that's how you understand the sign of the universe. Ki, everyone wants you to build this. So I had this friend of mine, Sukan, who was working with, in Afine only with me. And we both left at the same time. I started WanderOn and he got placed at Facebook. Okay. And he was handling the business analyst side of Facebook. And, I mean, he was actually handling how the Facebook pages are behaving, on the entire Facebook channel, because our attraction channel was only Facebook then. Back then we didn't had the funds to, let's say, go out and do all the marketing and the branding campaign. So our only attraction channel back then was only Facebook, right? So he got exactly as Facebook, and he used to get around 30,000 rupees monthly grant to, let's say, do the marketing, for different pages across the social media platform. So one day he called me. He was like, bro, you have started WanderOn, and I'm currently placed as Facebook. So I get around 30,000, rupees per month to actually go out and try testing ads on different communities. So I can spend all of it on your page. I was like, okay. So so we got the marketing right from someone who is sitting inside Facebook, who is spending 30,000 per month. I think he was actually placing all our Facebook ads and right inside the Facebook, working inside from the Facebook, and he was spending around 30,000 per month on our ad, which was completely free for us. So he was, I vouch him as one of the angel investors in the company, because, and he did that for around 1.5 years, continuously 1.5 years. He did that for us. So as a gesture, मैंने उसको बोला है कि all of your travel expenses throughout your entire life is on us, because that is what you have done to us, like during the initial phases. So I mean, that's one of the many stories that you get a sign from the universe that, okay, if you're building something, there are people around you, who will help you in some of the most incredible ways that you haven't even thought about. So this guy Sukan plays the most important role in our initial journey, because he was spending 30,000 rupees a month on our marketing, and he was exactly target, and he was sitting inside Facebook. So you can understand his excellence and his insights on, let's say, marketing and targeting the exact audience that we want to target during our product launches. So he did that for 1.5 years, and thankfully, we grew and we grew and we grew and we grew. So 2018 January is when we got our first office in Delhi. I mean, we hired team. So one thing, I just want to tell every one of you that, so when you are in the initial phases of your business, and when you start minting money, or let's say when you start generating money, always invest back in the business. Always invest back in the business. Always invest back in the business, because that's how the thing will grow back and give you a great return. We had a great new year on 2017. We had a tremendous new year. We churned out around good profits then. But we never thought, okay, let's increase our salaries and let's spend on the entire co-founding thing. We kept our salary very minimum. We spend on office, and we spend on hiring more team. So that's one of the very important factors that some of the entrepreneurs I've seen, that once they start minting money, they raise their salaries, they increase their expenses and all of that. And for a bootstrap company, you have to be completely frugal about the fact that, okay, all of the money that you're raising has to go back in the business only. So that helps us a lot. We hire a team from my college, from the tourism college, from all the, like from all the, like the industry sector people who are there in our company. And then within a span of 1 year, from one people, we grew up to a team of 15 people within like 1.5 year of the existence of WanderOn. So 2018, we were cruising, and then we thought about, okay, I think we have understood the business model. हमें समझ में आ गया 1 साल में कि exactly क्या हो रहा है and कैसे पैसा build करना है, and what exactly is the essence of, or let's say what exactly is the core business model, and how we need to, let's say, go up from here. So then we started venturing out